Hello, can you hear me?
Hello? Hey, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
How are you doing today? I can hear you.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So have you actually done any of these interviews before on interviewing.io?
Yes, I did. I did a few times. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So let me first start off with putting out an agenda on this interview on what we are going to do. And
Okay,
if you have any other expectation, you can actually put forth that as well.
sure. Sounds good.
Just a little bit about myself. I am Seattle-based software developer. I have around 4 years of software development experience,
Cool.
and I, um, yeah. Would you like to tell what you are expecting from this interview? What kind of questions would you like to see?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I've been working in the infrastructure space for like almost 3 years. I like after graduate from school, and so I've been working on some network automations and some of the traditional SRE tech stacks, and my
Mm-hmm.
language has been Python or Java. But in the work, I used to do a lot of Python, and then recently did some Java. But for the interview, I usually just do Python, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's about it. Oh, for the expectation, I just want to practice more so that I can practice my communications and how to like talk to interviewer and like how to walk through those problems. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, sounds good. Do you want to do any system design interview question or just a programming question?
I think just programming is good for now. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So what we are
Cool.
going to do is that I'm going to put forward a question, and then we are going to work on that for around 40 minutes. And
Okay.
for the rest of the time, we'll just discuss the feedback, um, and if we can actually, we'll talk about the problem if we can. Uh,
Okay.
but that's basically the agenda for the interview.
Sounds
All right,
great.
so you can you can select your language, and then I'll actually explain you the question.
Sure. Let me select the Python 3. Cool.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. Um, so basically, the input that you're given is a list of um, it's a structure like this, and you can actually structure the input as you want.
Okay.
But consider there's a JSON which basically has name of a person.
Okay.
So there's like Joe, and for that person, it will have when the person was born. That will have
Okay.
the birth year.
Okay.
So let's say 1900,
Okay.
and when the person
I
died.
can actually put a multi-line comment for if that's
Oh,
easier.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. No problem.
And person died maybe like in 1930.
Okay.
So you have
Sorry. Yeah.
uh, basically an array of this. So you have
Okay.
more. Yeah,
Okay. I see. Array of
yeah,
the
and
person up, so to speak.
okay, and I can just copy this
Copy
multiple
and paste
times
it.
here.
Okay.
John,
Okay.
maybe born like 1920 and died maybe like in 5 years. So as a child.
Okay.
All right. So given this data,
Okay.
what we are interested is to find out what was the year when most number of people were alive.
What was okay? Let me maybe write some notes. Um, find out what was the year when most of the people were alive.
Yeah, most number of people were alive.
Most
Yes.
number of people alive. Okay, I see. So I'm assuming that we are given an array of people profiles, so to speak, and
Mm-hmm.
should I assume like those people are like the structure of the data is very valid? Uh, Valid. I mean, like they do have a birth and they do have a death, and the death always greater than the birth.
Yes, so we
Okay.
can
Okay.
consider that to be valid.
Okay.
But that's actually a very good question. So there might be scenarios where a person hasn't died yet. But let's
Oh,
actually talk about it later. Let's
makes
just
sense.
focus on the basic case.
Okay, I see. Input data is valid. The death. So if it hasn't died yet, shall we represent that as a null or some special attribute to
Yeah, you
can?
can consider it as null. Um,
Okay.
Basically, I am giving you the freedom to structure this as you want. So
Okay.
consider as well as part of your test.
Okay. I see. Still alive. Okay. Okay. And find out what was the year the most people were alive. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking basically we have an array of people, and so I think so I'm assuming like the order of those people, they have any predefined order, or I might have to I may need to order them by myself.
So they don't have an order given.
They don't have an
They
order.
can be
Okay.
random order. Yeah.
Okay. Got you. I see. Um, cool. I'm thinking we can, because I wanna check basically check those years, like special year. Basically, somebody was born, and also some special year that somebody was like died in some of the year, and then we can know a specific year based on those events that happened. I can derive like how many people actually um, still were alive at specific year. And to do that,
Okay.
I might want to sort this array based on the people's birth year.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
if I sort this on the base year, the death year could be none. Um,
So
okay,
don't worry
thinking.
about that scenario yet.
Yeah,
Let's just focus on the basic scenario. You are
sure.
given a valid data. Initially, you can even think that birth is sorted for you. Let's go from
Okay,
there.
okay, okay, sure. Yeah, I can maybe like for the special scenario, I can just set up my current year like 2021, but the death could be 2022, so the people is still alive. Um,
Hmm.
in that special case. But yeah, sure. Let's assume like they all have died already, and they have a birth and death number, and they are valid because the deaths are greater than the birth. Um,
Hmm.
could that be possible that somebody like birth in 1920 and actually death in the same year?
Yes, that is possible.
That is possible. Okay, cool. Uh, Birth and death could be the same year. Okay. And in that case, I would not say that person was alive. Is that correct? Like by the end
You
of the
can
year, how many?
you can consider um, basically you can consider that the birth is on January 1st and death is at, at the end of the year. So even
Okay,
if they died somewhere in the middle, we don't have the precision to say which month they died. So we can just
right.
consider they were alive the entire year.
Oh, you mean we consider they were alive that year? Okay,
Yeah.
that year. Okay, just want to take some note here. Cool. If that's the case, I think, as I just mentioned, I want to basically check some of the events. So what I would do is I want to have have a priority queue to heap to kind of check based on the timeline. And so basically I will parse those people profiles into different events, like a birth events and death events. And then I will scan through those people and put those events into my priority queue. And that queue is going to be sorted by the key of the birth year. I mean, by the year of the birth or death. And then I can so out of the key or the value, I can know whether who is this person and what was the event, like a birth event or death event. And then I can keep a track of that, and like a global variable or something, I can track how many people are actually alive at certain year. And then I can just keep updating my max people alive, and eventually I will return it. But I think it could be a range. So how would I return this? Should I return a range of the year or just some specific 1 year or maybe?
Now we are looking for, so that's another good point. So there might be multiple of them which have the highest number of people alive. Just return the first one, or any one of them is fine.
Okay. Range of years in a year. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think my approach would be like scan through the people profiles and basically log the birth events and death events with the timeline, and put them events into a priority queue heap, sort by the year, and basically maintain. I guess I need to have two variables for now, like current people alive and max people. Oh, actually, I think I need to have three variables, like max alive year, so to speak. So that if I have something that's actually more than my max, I will update my answer and eventually return the max alive year integer. Yeah, that's my initial thought for now. I think in this approach, like, so for example, each person have like two events, right? Birth and death. And so assuming like we have n people, I think the time complexity should be, because I'm maintaining some queue, priority queue, I need to keep pushing into my queue and popping. But I think in the order of log n, log n times, I mean, all of n times log n, because my priority queue is actually it's actually 2n, but I would say it's a big O of n. And then each time I'm pushing, popping, and then it's like log n operation. But I have like 2n events, so that could be represented as a big O of n times log n for space, because I'm using the heap. So I'm using it's actually 2n, but it's a big O of n to store those events. And plus those constant variables, so should be ignored in this case. Yeah, that's for my initial thought for now.
Okay, this sounds good. Do you want to implement it?
Yeah, sure. Let me implement it. Okay. Yeah. Can I borrow your example?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let me just put a list. Okay. Yeah. Profile. Okay. Define max alive year. I'm giving some profiles. I will know this for now. So I'm giving some. So I would say I have an event, and I need to import it. Import a heap queue. Then events. So basically, I need to scan through the profile. So for this is like a JSON file. So people, maybe people in profile. And so the name, the people.get. Oh, do I need a name? Should I assume like there's no duplicate names in this example, or
yes, you can assume that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And I get the name and year. Okay, I think I need to have two events: birth year, birth. Death year, death. I've got 2 years. So basically, heap push to in my heap. Put a tuple in there. Because of the birth year, I probably don't need a name. Max 5 year. Okay. Put a birth year. Because his birth, I want to maybe represent that as a 1, kind of like one more people. And I would do another thing. Let me think about it, because this is a priority queue. If I want to process the if sometimes some people like died at a certain year, and another people was born at that year. I want to, what order would I want? I wanted to have all those born events happen first, I think, so that to address that if birth and death happen to be the same year, I consider this person as alive. So how do I maintain that to be the birth year? Okay, maybe this is a min heap, so I would just like do the reverse one. Okay, so leave a note here. -1 for sorting purpose. So we process those birth events first. If years are the same. Okay. Now I have profiles. I just need to check the events. So let's see, year, and I can year event. Pop. Okay, I'm popping out the year and the events. So let's see. I want to take those actual year. I want to take all those actual year. Okay, I think I can do a while loop to check, keep peeking and see if they have, like, sometimes they have some special case, like all the people actually were born at the same year and they all die at the same year. Some extreme cases. So like while events and event ENTS, like peak the year equals to my year, and I will process that. Okay, and per year I have like per people alive. If event it's a 1, if it's 1, I think I can make it simpler. Get the current people, and I check this, and because they're the same year, current people alive minus stop hop. Get that. Current people greater than max. People alive. Life, and well, same year. a little duplicate, but
That's fine.
okay. Yeah, it's like now I'm make sure it's actually out of the while loop, so they're actually a different year. If current people live is greater than that, updating that, and keep popping the events. I think that's about it. Max alive year. Yeah, I think that's basically the structure of this. Okay, maybe let me write some test cases. 20. In this case, profiles. And should I walk through the code first before we run the test?
No, you can run the test. I think the
Okay.
code is pretty clear.
Sure. Okay. And find max alive year. And I'm filling the profiles, and then it should get me something. Let's try it. Max people alive equals to line number 47. Oh, sorry. This local variable max alive year is assigned. Oh, so it's different now. In profile is not defined. Profiles. Okay. Profiles. 1920. Like because I have three people over there. Yeah. I think this returned the expected result, but this is just like one case. Maybe I can try a few multiple cases.
So what are the other type of test cases that you can test this with?
Yeah, I want to check because they have some overlaps. I want to check something that doesn't have overlap. Maybe 1930, no overlap, right? 40 and 1946. And so for simplicity, I just put a single letter for now, but the real case might not be this, but okay. And then I want to test some special case. How do I show this? I need to make sure this special case actually is more than that, so that I know my logic actually is correct. Let's say 45 and 45. C. 20. How about I remove one? 2025 and 2026, they're identical. I mean, they're basically the same. Okay, so I have these are like 1920 through 1925. That's like two people were alive, and then I have like three people. They are one is normal, the other one is like died the same year, and the third one is actually the same. Okay, so this test case should test like whether we like if they were alive and died at the same year, we consider this person as alive, and then that should give us three people. So the year should be 1945, I think. Yeah.
The second one, the B actually wasn't alive at 1940. name C wasn't alive in 1940.
Oh,
So
right.
we can probably make
Yeah,
that as 1940. Yeah,
yeah, like this.
yeah, that's also
Okay,
fine.
cool. Let me try it. See if it works out. 1945. Cool. So that gives us like if the person B is actually was born in 1945 and also died in 1945. We try to process the birth event first.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sounds good.
what else?
So this is actually looking good already. So
Okay, cool.
I have one follow-up question here.
Sure.
Is that if we were to have a structure which does not mention death, what other information would you require to be able to compute um, the year which has most number of people alive?
You mean like we don't know the people's death year? Is that what you're follow?
Yeah, if there are people who are still alive, we won't have
Okay.
their deaths.
We
So
don't have the death. Okay.
maybe like we can actually run that as an example. So maybe actually
Okay.
take C and let him be alive right
Okay.
now, and try to
Yeah,
actually
I
adapt
see.
your code for that.
Okay. I think I can like death year is not none.
Mm-hmm.
So in Python, if I do the get, I should get none by default. But I mean, I can actually write it, but like the function itself will return none because I don't know. Maybe it doesn't have a death year yet. But shall we assume like they should have a birth year, right? Each person.
Yes.
At least they have a
Yeah.
name and okay, cool. Then we don't need handling here. Yeah, I would just like skip the event for the death for now because I know it was that people was born over there and at any year that person, and I mean when I was checking the events at any year it was still after the birth year after the person was still alive.
Okay. Yes, this will work.
Okay.
All right. So this looks like a very good solution. Another way of thinking about this problem is the range of years that we have.
Range of the
Right here is
year.
from 1900 to 1949. That's basically our data set. So is there a possible way to reduce the complexity so that we don't have to sort?
We don't have to sort. Hmm. I see. So you mean sort, by sort you mean my events, right? I have a heap to
Yes.
store all my events. Okay.
Correct.
And
Your
all
complexity
the,
is unlocked. So
okay.
if it can go any lower.
Okay. Uh, yeah. I'm thinking, so they have a year. If I don't have that sorted, I want to know which year has most people. Hmm. Uh, okay. And I have, yeah, I'm thinking because this is a special case. This is like years. So
Mm-hmm.
the actual years like aren't that many. Like maybe we have like 2,000 years maybe. Um, we can maybe have a array of years, and each year represent how many people were actually were born or death at that certain year in each of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, maybe like a tuple. So I can basically scan through my people and take those birth and death year as an input and modify my tuple. I mean, it's not modified, but it's like a new tuple. Or I can just put a list. The list has 2 elements. I write it down. Okay, so it's like was born 1 and died 0. For example, I can start from, I don't know, start from year 1900 or 1800, and then in the array size I can make it bigger, maybe 2000 plus 1800. That's actually too many. Say 2100, 300. Okay, so then the first one is 1800 and the second one is 1801, things like that.
Can you explain what is the array on the 47th line?
Sure. 47? Oh, the array size is basically how many possible years I have.
Okay, so you're considering it's from 1800 to 2100.
Yeah, 2100. Yeah, 300
or
possible years.
2099.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
an event here. Yeah, and so in this like a 2-element array, I have a like a live people, or well, I should say birth people, and the second one is death people, something like that. And it's gonna be all like this, stored at each year based on the index. And I just need to scan through this constant array to update those birth people and death people. And after I have this pre-processed array, I can just scan this array again and to check, because I know what the year at each one, and I will try to add the people first, so I can get my current alive people, and then evaluate that against my current max people alive attribute. If that's actually more than that, I can update my year and current people alive. My max people alive.
Okay, so let's actually take an example. So
Sure.
maybe we have only
These two.
let's just shorten the range so it makes it easier for you to show. So you
Okay,
have
sure.
2.
Okay.
Just want to see how your array would be formed and how
Sure.
your results will be there.
Okay, so I will like skip some of them. Yeah, I probably need to have some time to figure out how to compress this array. There are lots of redundant information. Because I don't want to.
Yeah, it's okay. You can go with
Okay.
whatever comes to your mind first, and then we can optimize.
Okay, sure. So let's say it's like 1920. This array is 1920. I have birth 1, and I mean actually in this case I have 2, death 0, and then after a certain year I have 1922. I have 0, 1, and 0, 1. So this is 1922, 1925.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I will scan through this again. I still have those variables like this. Max people and current people live. First, they were all 0, and then I have like 2. 2 is actually more than 0, so I will update this to 2, and the year becomes 1920. And then I have I still go through this array, and I encounter 1 death, 0 born and 1 death. So I have 1, and this one's unchanged. And then I have death 1. I mean, I have 1 death and 0 born. I mean, first I need to check if are there any born, like any additions to my current people alive. If so, I will try to evaluate against the max people alive. See any possible chance I need to update my year. So the same. Yeah, after that I should have returned the max alive that year.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, definitely this takes a lot of space, especially some redundant space. But if we were to allow to use some sorting, like sorted array or things like that, we can optimize a little bit. But it's like a trade-off. I'm trading off the space for some time. So this can be linear time and linear space. I mean, sorry, constant space, given that the years are that many. Is that something close to what you were thinking about?
Yes, it is actually. So both your solutions are fine. I wasn't expecting you to give exactly what I'm thinking. Both of them works, and you don't have to implement the second one. I think we are at 40 minutes time, and we can just talk about feedback. So usually interviews are 45 minutes. That's why I don't want to actually push this to 1 hour. In fact, they're even shorter. Like I think Google interviews goes for 35 minutes or so because they talk about your work life and everything for 10 minutes. So this is actually very realistic, this time period. And let's actually get into the feedback now. So let me first go and let me first start with giving the positives. So I really like the way you are actually asking questions. There were a bunch of different corner cases that you were able to recognize in the beginning. And that definitely shows your meticulous attitudes towards the problem. And then you also, the solution that you actually gave right away was the most optimized solution that I had in my mind, because I wasn't expecting you to consider that there's a range. So you would basically have to sort. But then I just wanted to, for discussion's sake, I wanted to see if I can boggle your mind with another approach and how do you react to that. And it seems like you performed really well on that one as well. Your complexity is right. You voluntarily gave that complexity. That's also very good. One thing I liked also, and probably you should continue doing that, is to write down what you're thinking. Your communication is really, I think, wonderful. You don't have to be worried about your communication skills, but the fact that you're also writing it down makes it super clear for the interviewer. So those are the positives. Did I miss out on anything? Of course, your problem solving skills and command on Python language seems good. So those are going to look good as well in your interview. You could. I was giving some hints, but you can expect the interviewer to give you some hints, and it's not considered. It's not considered negative on your feedback if you are receiving the hints correctly, or at least you are open to them. So that's a very good thing.
Cool.
And I don't have a lot of negative points to give. I know you probably want to see what you have to improve also on. Um, but I think there were only a couple of places where I felt that you were too quick to go to an optimized solution. And
Okay.
have actually seen this in myself and other interviewers that, we know the solution might be somewhere there, but don't even think about it. Don't even think about, you can state the corner cases and say, I will actually, work on this later. The
Okay.
downside of actually getting stuck in corner cases very early in the beginning, especially with the implementation part, is that if it complicates your problem to an extent that you cannot actually handle in that time period,
Oh,
you have missed an opportunity to actually solve the problem. So if you could have solved the problem if you went step by step,
I see.
but now because you actually made things harder for you, there's a possibility that you might not complete it. So
Oh,
just
I
go
see.
step by
Makes
step.
sense.
Make your data set complicated one by one.
Okay,
Um,
I see.
and I just wanted to, I liked hearing those questions, and maybe sometimes I was extrapolating to what you were saying, but that's also fine. So you did really well, actually. You definitely, if somebody would ask, and this you can expect this as a medium level question. Most of the interviews would be of this level. I think even
Cool.
Google asks interviews of this level. So you
Okay.
did really well, and there would be. I don't think I would have any negative feedback in my debrief. So very very
Cool.
good job.
Yeah, thank you so much for your feedback. I appreciate that. Those are really helpful, especially for the corner case one. Sometimes like it's something I can do or I can just skip, but like I kind of I don't know what should I do, but like and I just like naturally point them out in the corner case. Yeah,
Yep.
but as you mentioned, maybe I should just keep that and until I finish the implementation first, then maybe we can discuss those corner cases or how to improve it. Maybe get the first working solution first.
Yep. And also,
Cool.
this is probably not a big deal, but you don't have to list down how you're going to implement the sort. Like
Oh,
you're
okay.
talking about priority queues and everything. That's all fine. But I have
Okay.
seen people actually getting stuck with data structure too much and not thinking about the algorithm itself. You can just say, I'm going
Okay.
to sort it. I'm going to sort it in a way that birth comes before death and they are sorted by year. And that's all I need to know at the time when I'm, hearing your first approach. So you did fine in this, so I have no complaints on this interview, but it's another place that people actually get caught up.
Cool. Cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Sure. And if you have any feedback, you can give now or to me as an interviewer, maybe how you like the question or what else would you like me to do as an interviewer, and then we can wrap up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think that should be about it. Like, I'm just curious, like, do you usually do a real interview in the real life?
Um, so I started doing shadow because I just switched my company. It takes a while before I start interviewing. But
Oh,
I would
cool.
be taking interviews
I see. Yeah, the
in near
reason why I
future.
ask is because this is like the peer one. So I usually I try to gauge or try to see if it's a real peer or is actually a real interviewer potentially. But yeah. But
Uh-huh.
thank you for your time and I appreciate that. And you're very professional and I like the way you like communicate with your interviewee. It's really great.
Thank you very much. Um, all right. Have a wonderful time interviewing with companies. I am pretty sure you'll do good.
Thank you
Just
so
keep
much.
practicing. Uh, if you find the solution early um, in the question, that's basically half the problem done. If you really can make a mental map of how you're going to solve it. If you don't never lose hope. I've actually seen some interviews where interviewer did not do well at all,
Okay.
but they did well in other interviews. But I could
Okay.
see that they could have well in the interview that I was actually attending as well, but they just
Okay.
lost hope.
Okay.
So,
I see.
I mean, if they didn't lose hope, they would have gone through because one bad interview really doesn't actually always um, makes a negative feedback.
I see.
So
Yeah.
always keep your
Makes
hope
sense.
up and don't worry about if you are not giving the solution that the interviewer is asking. Um, it's good to actually interpret, try to judge what they are expecting you to do, um,
Sure.
but never lose hope. That's what I want to say.
Cool. Yeah. I will take a note of that. Never give up. Never lose hope. Keep trying.
Yeah, usually, sometimes it will like in a couple of minutes you'll actually get the answer, and that can be at the end, and that will change your entire interview. So
Cool.
yeah, I've seen that in myself as well. That has happened to me. So
Yeah, sometimes
all
maybe
right,
the answer is not super clear yet. Maybe we can just try to talk about it and walk through it. Sometimes it just came out instantly. So yeah, we never
yep.
know.
But you're doing good. Yep.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
I know it's pretty late right now. I wish you have a wonderful night.
Yes, well. Good night.
Cool. Thanks. Good night.
Bye bye.